In this lesson, I will show you how you can create a new assembly document as well as how you can insert components in it. As you can see, I have launched Solidworks to create a new assembly file. To do that, I will click on the new icon from the Quick Access toolbar. Once the new Solidworks document window appears, I will select the assembly type and I will click OK. After a few seconds, the new assembly file is created and the open window appears automatically so I can insert the appropriate components. At this point, I should mention that in an assembly document you can insert either part files or assembly files. In other words, an assembly can consist of parts or sub-assemblies. Now you can browse the folders of your computer, find the part files you want, select them and click Open. Once you do, those parts will be automatically inserted in the assembly file. At this point, I should mention that it's good practice to create a folder beforehand in which you will save all the parts of the same assembly. So I will go to this folder, I will select all the part files there and I will click Open. After a few seconds, the first part appears. I will click somewhere to place it and the next part appears automatically. Notice that there is also a mini toolbar from which I can rotate the part before I place it. For example, the third part must be rotated 90 degrees in the x-axis. So, in the angle field, I will type the number 90 and I will click on the X button. Notice that now the object will be placed in the right direction. So I will click to place this part, and once I do, the last part I inserted appears. I will click to place that part too. Once all the objects I inserted have been placed, the Insert Component tool deactivates automatically. However, there are a few parts that exist in the assembly more than once. So to place again the same part, or to place another part in general, I can click on the Insert Component button, which can be found in the assembly ribbon. Once I do, the open window appears again. Now I will select the part 4 and I will click Open. I will click to place it and the Insert Components tool deactivates automatically. At this point, I should mention that there are other ways to insert a part. I need to reinsert the part 4 more times, which will take quite some time if I activate the Insert Component tool again and again. So instead of activating the Insert Component tool, I will hold down the Control key, I will click on it, and I will move the cursor inside the assembly area. Notice that a copy of this part appears. I will release the click and then the Control key, and notice that the copy was placed. At this point, I should mention that every part of the assembly appears in the Feature Manager design tree. Another way to insert a part is to have the part document open and then drag and drop it into the assembly area. To understand better what I mean, I will click on the Open icon from the Quick Access toolbar, I will select the part 4 and I will click Open. Then, from the window menu, I will select the Tile Horizontally option. Now I can drag the screw from the Part 4 document into the assembly. Once I release the click, one more screw has been inserted. I will repeat the same process 2 more times, and then I will close the part 4. Now I will maximize the assembly document again. Finally, I will hold down the Control key and I will click on the part 3 to create 2 more copies. At this point, I have inserted every part I need, and if I click on any of them and drag it in the assembly area, the part moves freely in space. If I release the click, then the part remains in its new position. Furthermore, if I right-click on a part and while holding down the click, drag the mouse, then the object rotates freely. I can also use the Move component and Rotate component from the Assembly ribbon to move or rotate a part respectively. If I want a part to be fixed in its place, all I have to do is find its name in the Feature Manager design tree, right-click on it and select the Fix option. Notice that once I did, the F letter appeared on the left of the part, and now I can no longer move or rotate it. To move and rotate the part freely again, all I have to do is right-click on it again and select the Float option. Once I did, the F letter disappeared, and naturally I can move and rotate the part again. Now, if I do not need a part in the assembly, I can easily delete it if I select it and press the Delete key. In this example, I have inserted the part 3 times, but I only need 2 copies of this part. So I will select one of them and I will press Delete. In the message that appears, I will select Yes, and the part disappears immediately. At this point, I will click on the Undo button to show you another way to delete a part. Once I locate its name in the Feature Manager design tree, I will right-click on it and I will select the Delete option. So this is how you insert and remove parts from an assembly. So now you know how to insert the parts of an assembly inside an assembly document.